just to give you some housekeeping, we'll probably go till minimum 9:30 if that's okay with everybody. Now, for those of you out there who are like, 2 hours, my God, he's going to get to every question in the audience. Apparently you've never been to one of these Q&As before. There's a little bit of Q and a metric fuck ton of A. I tend to give very long-winded responses that last a half an hour, 45 minutes long. I have killed so many sign language interpreters over the course of my existence. So anyway, we'll get to all that. We'll find out what you guys want to talk about. I don't know, are there microphones or something like that? Where are they going to ask the questions? There? All the way back there? And there's one there too. Oh my God, they really want to keep you fuckers away from me. Okay. All right, so there's a microphone there, there's a microphone there. We'll talk until they chuck us out of here and stuff, and we'll talk about anything you want to talk about. But before we get started, I just wanted to share a little story with you. So I got a kid, she's 16, she's about to be 17. Her name is Harley Quinn. I named her after the Joker's sidekick. She just like did a graduation thing where she's a junior and the seniors at her school graduated, so the junior class had this moving up ceremony where, you know, essentially they're like, you're seniors now, and they go through a corridor and stuff, and streamers are coming down. Very sweet, very fucking private school. So anyway, she was texting me about how fucking excited she was just before I came out, and you know, I was telling her, because I've been on the road some places, I've been showing Yogo's movie and stuff. She was like, what are you doing tonight? I was like, I'm in Washington, D.C. at AwesomeCon, and this is what she texted me. Don't let Donald Trump see you.
That's amazing.
I haven't even thought about that, man. She's awesome, the kid. I love the kid so much. When I first found out about the kid, when she wasn't even my wife, she was just some lady I was fucking. When that lady I was fucking was like, I'm pregnant, like, you know, my whole world fell apart in my head. My first reaction, my wife still grinds my gears about it to this day, was I had handed Jennifer a container of milk because I just poured a bowl of cereal. I said, can you put this in the fridge? And she took it, and then right before she put it in the fridge, she said, I'm pregnant. And my first reaction was, can you put the milk away, please? So still to this day, she's like, you remember what you first fucking said when you found out I was pregnant? And I was like, I'm happy. So essentially, the kid, when I first heard about her, wasn't necessarily enthused and stuff. Oddly enough, years later, she's the great joy of my life and stuff. And she's my only texting friend, the only person who actually texts with me on a regular basis. Don't feel bad for me, it's okay. The lady went, aw, I don't mean that in a sad way. I don't mean to put anyone down, but I do want to elevate her for it because she's excellent at it. Teenagers are fucking phenomenal texters. They understand the technology. All the adults in my world don't understand it, don't use it right. Jason Mewes, the guy who stands next to me for half my life playing Jay and my Silent Bob, I will text him, right? He lives around the block from me and shit. So I'll text him on a Wednesday and be like, Jay, I need a ride to the airport Friday at 2 o'clock. And then Friday at 3 o'clock, we'll be at the airport, and he'll be driving, and I'll be sitting next to him, and he'll go, yes. And I'm like, you're failing this technology, man. But at least he'll respond. Like, my wife doesn't even respond, really. And sometimes I text her from the same room. Like, we spend a lot of time together. Sometimes it's together alone where you're just in the same space. Like, you know, she'll be like, I just want you in the room with me. I'm like, okay. It's kind of like detention when you're married and shit. You're just in the same fucking space together and stuff. And so I'll lay on the bed and watch TV, and she sits on the couch and watches her programs. Lately, her program, which she watches on her laptop, is Investigative Discovery, which is a channel that apparently teaches every woman in the world how to kill her husband in his sleep. It's crazy. I'll be walking through, I don't watch her programs, but I'll walk through and I'll overhear what she's listening to, and it's always some voiceover that's like, he was a cheating prick until she poured gasoline in his asshole and lit a match. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, don't ever fucking cheat. And goes back to watching. Either that or she reads. So on this one particular occasion, I was laying on the bed, she was sitting there watching her programs on the couch. I was laying there watching Flash Season 1 finale, which I've seen many times. It's one of my, it's the best Flash episode ever made, but it's one of my favorite things produced by humanity over the course of the planet Earth. So fucking good, so good. So I'm sitting on the bed watching it, and it's a very emotional episode. If you've never seen it, watch it. It has to do with the Flash dealing with his mom, who passed away many years ago, spoilers. So I'm sitting there and I'm getting caught up, and I've seen it like at this point 6, 8 times. Like, I love it so much. And I get really emotional because I'm a middle-aged stoner, so everything makes me cry. So I'm real wrapped up in this, and you know, I look over, you know, because there's a story of a boy who's like connecting with his mom in the worst moment of his life and stuff, thanks to his abilities to run real fast to solve his problems. And so I'm looking at the image that depicting of Barry and his mom. It's beautiful. It's fucking heartbreaking. It's so fucking good. And I look over at the couch, and there's my wife, who's a real life version, kind of like. You know, I always wondered who I would wind up with ever since I was a kid. I saw my parents interacting as a couple, and I was like, oh, I guess that's what I want in life. I want to be with somebody who always has my back and I'll never be alone. I wonder who that'd be. And after a lifetime, there she was. And the mother of my child. I'm watching the fucking Flash. Meanwhile, there's a real mom sitting right there on the couch. And I grab my phone because I'm overwhelmed by emotion, and I text my wife, and I'm like, meeting you was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. It's enhanced my life incredibly. I love you so fucking much. And I hit send, and I hear it pop up on her phone, which is right next to her. Ba-ding! And she's watching her program, and all of a sudden she sees the ba-ding, she looks at her phone, reads it, puts it down, and goes back to her program. And I'm like, I'm right here, man. And she's like, oh, love forever. So they don't fucking do it right. The kid, on the other hand, does it right. The moment I hit fucking send on the message, 3 little dots come up because she's mid-response. Sometimes I haven't even sent my response, she sends another fucking response, man. So she's like a texting ninja. I guess the point of the story is if you want to be involved in a fulfilling textual relationship.
Textual
A
relationship.
friend and teenage girl? That's not it either. Helps if you're related to her, I guess. I don't know. But basically, it's a long way of saying I text a lot with my kid. This is a text I wanted to share with you that happened just last month. I go out on the road quite a bit. I'm always out somewhere talking. This week in terms of where this text was, I was out on the road for 420, which is a national holiday for those of us who are travelers of the green. So, I've been gone for 4 days from my house. The kid texts me, where in the world are you, father? She just fucking noticed. I said, you're very observant. Atlanta, Georgia. And she goes, on 420? What if CNN catches you smoking? I was fucking blown away that she knew the corporate headquarters of CNN was Atlanta. What fucking teenager knows that? So I wrote to her, I said, that private school tuition is really paying off. So she said, when do you come home? And I said, Saturday night after the show's in Austin. And she says, do you want to take me to Harry Potter World on Sunday? They just, you know, in Florida, they got this amazing Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Universal. They just opened one in Los Angeles at the Universal theme park out there. And now the kid has been to the one in Florida many times. I've been there with her and stuff, so she's been to the park. But since they opened it up the street from us, she's like, we have to go. And I was like, we're not going for the first 6 months because it's gonna be nothing but long lines, and they don't have a real life fucking sorting hat there to get us fucking through. And then she gets all shitty when she's like, you don't believe in magic. So she's still asking me about it, and you know, I'm like, geez, I don't want to be a dick, but it's like I'm trying to play the logical card, so I say, won't it be really crowded on Sunday? And this is where the conversation takes a weird turn, man. She writes back, we could just buy front of the line passes, dumble dick. Now, unless you think that's how we roll in our house and stuff, that's not, man. She's never called me double dick before. This is the first time, and what's weird about it is her mom, my wife, that's the only person that ever calls me double dick. And it's a sex thing. And started in bed and shit. It said the pun was something like the wand chooses the wizard and shit like that. She called me Dumble Dick. Every once in a while she says it again. So the kid calling me Dumble Dick, or using the term Dumble Dick, is akin to the kid suddenly texting me my safe word, so to speak. But I don't want to alarm her, man. You can fuck up a child big time. If I'm like, oh my God, you're talking about dad's Dumble Dick and shit. So I didn't want to tell her that, so I approached it from the parental angle. I said, oh, kiddo, you're not allowed to call me that. Only your mom could call me that. Now, my kid, I love her very, very much, but she's very much like my wife some days. She's almost a carbon copy of me without a beard, without a dick. But attitudinally, she's very much like her mother, and that's to say that sometimes she could be a real fucking bitch. So in that moment, man, when I was like, oh, you're not allowed to call me that, only your mom, she writes back, oh, Mr. Thin-Skinned Dumble Dick. Bothered by his little nickname. So at this point, I'm like, fuck her, man. I was trying to spare her feelings, and now she's like rubbing it in and shit, so gloves are off, and I write, kid, do you know why your mom calls me Dumble Dick? And she don't even see it coming, you know? Which means we're overpaying for that private school education. And she writes, because you're the head of Hogwarts, ha ha ha. And I wrote back, oh no, kid. It is a filthy sex thing. And I put sex in capital letters, S-E-X. She wrote back with capital letters as well, O-M-G. I said, yeah, so keep calling your dad Dumble Dick. And she wrote, I just threw up in my mouth a little. I need to scrub this from my brain. I said, you can try a magic spell called Forget a Kiss. And then she said, I would, but you hit all the weed before you left. Moral of that story is like, never fear having a kid. You get to play with them later in life. It's fun. Okay, man, we're gonna Q&A it until they tell us not to Q&A anymore. I would warn a bunch of people not to stand up with 2 hours. It sounds like we'll get to a lot of questions. We won't. 2 hours is basically, in my Q&A world, about 2.5 questions. So I would say line up maybe 3 deep. The rest of you sit down and enjoy the show. I've seen many people at many shows line up for hours. I do 3 people and they're like, what the fuck? Like, so sit, kick back, relax. We'll go here, then we'll go here. Is it just 2 mics or 3 mics? 4 mics, holy shit, man. This is awesome. This is like being on a fucking big, and we got this going on too. I half expect you to be like, oh, I can't get into body contact, man. Might hurt my profession. I'm not aiming this at you, and I don't mean this to be gross, but I've always wondered, like, because I have a lot of male interpreters, so this goes for female or men as well, it's not just a female thing. I would imagine sign language interpreters give amazing hand jobs.